To be completely honest, Dreams and Nightmares is just because that's my favorite Meek Mill song. Like, like
It's a spiritual. It's literally dead ass. It's a Negro spiritual. Like
yeah.
that's how you end the night. No matter where you are, you just have to play either R&B to slow it down, or you
Hmm.
play something that brings the community together.
Yeah.
So I I as a visual black person, I am black. You can tell by my skin. Um, I will tell you this: Fena does not know all the lyrics to Dream and Nightmares.
I
I know when to come in.
do. And
I
you know
know
when
how
to leave.
I know how to double dutch in, double dutch out when I need to, double dutch back in, and then yeah. So I mean, I can get myself through so that people know I'm a nigga, but that's that's pretty much it.
To be completely honest, Dreams and Nightmares is just because that's my favorite Meek Mill song. Like, like
It's a spiritual. It's literally dead ass. It's a Negro spiritual. Like
yeah.
that's how you end the night. No matter where you are, you just have to play either R&B to slow it down, or you
Hmm.
play something that brings the community together.
Yeah.
So I I as a visual black person, I am black. You can tell by my skin. Um, I will tell you this: Fena does not know all the lyrics to Dream and Nightmares.
I
I know when to come in.
do. And
I
you know
know
when
how
to leave.
I know how to double dutch in, double dutch out when I need to, double dutch back in, and then yeah. So I mean, I can get myself through so that people know I'm a nigga, but that's that's pretty much it.
um, so I will let you guys all introduce yourselves, and then in your introduction, I will have you say who you are and what your brand slash business is, and then we'll jump into the conversation. Fena, you are our lady, so we'll let you go first.
Yeah, so my name is Fena Fenelon. That is my real name, not fake, because I get asked that a lot. So I am the CEO and founder of the So Phenomenal Agency Group. So Phenomenal is the playoff name of my name, Fena. So Phenomenal, everything that we do, so phenomenal, period. I don't just say it, I live it. So what makes us very unique is that we are the culture's branding agency. What we do is that we either propel culture, or we help you, how do I say, attract the culture that you are looking to gravitate towards, but without any type of offenses, and also any without any cultural appropriation. So all respect to all cultures. So that's what it is.
I love that.
Oh,
Dave.
Word. My name is David, and I am the producer of a production company called DAP Arts. I'm the founder of the company. We mainly produce scripted content. The latest thing that we have out right now is an animation series called Zach and Dap, and it's about two best friends, one conservative and one liberal, and they have conversations that are just really tough to have in the climate that we're in right now.
And you can find it on YouTube.
yeah,
Yeah, sure.
Wait, is it not on YouTube?
It is, but I also have so many other things that I'm doing content wise right now that I'm like, yeah, it's on YouTube, but I forget to say that
part. Jason, I'll let you go.
All right. Well, my name is Jason Baptiste. I'm co-owner, founder of Crystalite Events. Crystalite Auditorium and Event Hall. Basically, we do events for the hardworking individual, weddings, baby showers, birthday parties, private events, public events, you name it, we're doing it.
They did my
really,
wedding.
Yeah, we did Shu's wedding, and you know, it's just it's a grind for quality, right?
Mhm.
We established the business so that people that are hardworking can have some type of luxury without being bent over for it. Right? You got a lot of people in this industry that are just milking you for things that just take minimal sweat equity. So, you know, that's what we've been doing. Um, and we're doing pretty well too. So can't knock
Yeah.
it.
Right.
Okay.
Kev.
That Kev, what up, Kev?
Bro.
Silent up in here like an assassin. Can't even say what up.
Yeah, I was talking about something. I didn't want to jump into it. I was lost. How's everybody doing? Kevin B the brand. No, it's not my real name. But so what do? I'm Caden's dad, former vet. I'm in real estate. I host events. And did I say real estate already?
Yep.
I do that. I'm now getting into the speaking circuit. And then in June, I'll have more hats. So stay tuned.
Bang. Bang.
All right, guys. So like I said, the title of this episode is Dreams and Nightmares. Fena and I were talking earlier today, and she made a great point in relation to Martin Luther King. I said that the reason why I chose Dreams and Nightmares from Meek Mill's song, you know, I love it. It's the first song I learned. But when I think of entrepreneurship, I think of dreams of it, you know, it can be a dream and a nightmare all in one. But I'm going to ask Fena to elaborate a little more on her relation to her looking at it in respects to Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream. And I guess with this past weekend.
I mean, I only mentioned it just because I thought it was
real quick,
Yeah.
Fena. First of all, toast to Fena and this past week, all the work she did in the city.
Yep.
Black Boston is real.
Yep.
For those that didn't know.
drink water.
Embrace Boston.
Jason,
I was gonna
happy
do
belated.
that.
Toast to you too, brother. And Dap, toast to everything that you're doing.
We're going to go back to congratulating Fena. And for those of you who don't know what Kev is talking about, this past weekend was the reveal of the MLK Embrace Boston do we call it a statue structure?
What's funny is it's an art piece. I call it art piece. It's literally a statue, but I've been calling it and I've been going between statue and monument actually.
Right.
I'm gonna say art piece.
It's an art
It
piece.
got a lot of people talking. That's
A lot of people talking, and you know what? The
Listen.
reason why I'm going to call it an art piece, and I agree with you, is because art is always open to interpretation. This is
Mhm.
not
fact.
your standard statue. It is not your standard image of a person, like
Right.
a personified image or statue of a person. This is literally somebody taking a photo and saying, this is going to be my interpretation
Mhm.
of this, and depending on what angle, you might get a fellatio or you might get a hug. So that is the
That is a takeaway.
First of all, Fena, I saw an art piece. I didn't get all the way. I saw a heart. I saw a heart one
I
time.
saw heart too. Yep.
And then Shou gonna message me. It was like, because somebody else was saying something.
Kev on stage.
Shou, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
And then
I was like, he ruined it for me. I
Look
saw
at
the
this
hug.
angle. Look at this angle. I was like, oh my God.
Yes.
Why?
It was Kev on stage, and I said, I can't unsee it, but it's still art
can't.
piece.
Yeah.
Once you
I
see
saw
it,
the
you see
hug.
that
I
more.
saw the heart. I saw all the goodness in it. And then I saw his post. And I was like, oh.
And
Okay.
that's why it's an art piece.
Leave it
Because
to
that's
niggas.
what art does.
It's niggas. Leave it to us. We be ruining our own shit. Anyway, so
You do.
anyway, so
yes,
yes.
talk to us about your involvement.
So this deal came about mid last year. So let's say and if anyone is familiar with King Boston is kind of like a subdivision of the Boston Foundation. So the Boston Foundation funds a lot of Black businesses and gives a lot of donations and grants within the city to people who look like us. And so they created King Boston, which I did not know was titled King Boston because to continue the legacy of Martin Luther King. So they reached out to me sometime in maybe, let's say March, April, maybe no, let's say February, March. They did their first festival called the Embrace Festival. And I was hired, third party hired. And so I did the branding for that. And then went to Greece. During the whole time they had their festival here, went to Greece. And while I was in Greece, my phone's blowing up like, okay, so we may need you to be a part of this thing that we're working on. I'm over here like, I'm not taking no calls. I'll be back in the US. After when I get back, we'll have a conversation. I landed and King Boston hits me up directly. They were like, forget the middleman. Let me hit you up. So they were just like, first of all, we're already going through a rebrand right now, but what you had created for the festival and what your company was able to create for the festival, we want you to replicate something similar to that for a big weekend that we're having for MLK weekend. So mind you, I had showed up for the groundbreaking in April. I had no idea I was even going to be a part of this at this point. I was just showing up like, oh, this is going to be dope. That's just going to be here. But sometimes you just end up being in rooms not knowing that you're about to be
in the right place at the right time
in that room later on. So I was like, dang, I was just at the unveiling. Now they hit me up talking about, so we're going to do a big statue that's going to be in the Boston Commons. First of all, Boston Common statue, a Black statue at that in Boston, like the systemic racism here is really kind of like, it's
real. It's real.
It's
really real.
It might not be in your face, like, no offense that in Nashville or in where you at, like no Confederate flags over here, but it's real. Yeah. So I was like, that's freaking dope. So what did they want me to do? They wanted our company to lead over the brand design and the identity over the whole entire weekend. And so it's been a process. So literally I landed from Greece, got on a call, contract signed, and now we're over all of that. So I thought it was going to be some small thing. To be honest with you, it's not like I downplayed it. I just thought I was going to do a little zhuzh. Let me give you this. They were like, we need a coin made. We need a medallion made. These medallions are going to go over all of the honorees. We need a color scheme. We need a flag. We need pizzazz. So King Boston seems to be now Embrace Boston. So again, they changed the name from King to Embrace so that it embodies everyone. Because I will tell you this, when I first heard the name King, I thought it was only derived from men. So I thought it was only catered to men. So for me, I was just like, I know it's inclusive, but I don't get that immediately.
Right.
So I'm happy that they did the rebrand. I'm happy that they did change the name. But yeah, the process, it was the first time I worked with a business or company at this magnitude. Like, I've worked with sponsors before with Blacktoberfest, but usually I'm working with to get free stuff.
Whoa. Don't be coming in here late and loud.
I wasn't. All I heard was recording in progress.
Oh, I think that's what it was. So yeah, so the process was a lot, and I think this is the most I work with white people since I started my business. And it reminded me how much wow.
It's different.
It's very different. And the reason why it's different, and I will tell you this, and I don't know if anyone else has ever experienced this. White women, when it comes to I don't know, there's a power struggle when it comes to white women. I honestly think that they don't like being told what to do in certain situations. No. And mind you, for me, I'm in branding. You're in PR. So they hired a PR company that were, I hope they don't hear this. I hope this doesn't mess me up in my.
Oh, well.
Anyway, but you're in PR. So there was a lot of like, what are they doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? I'm just like, I'm in branding. I'm like, we're doing two different things. But you know what? I think I think the hardest part was really honestly the communication part. And I think that we learned that at the very end. And that was just like, we all had our own egos. Let's be honest. Like, I'm over here, you're over there. It wasn't working, but I think that we were lacking the communication. I think we all came together at the very end to make it work. And so that was like, but anyway, so I noticed that with white women is that like, if they're not in control of certain things, it gets them very nervous. And they're like, it's just, anyway. it was a lot. And I'm going to be very honest with you. It was just like draining at one point.
Mm.
And I think because of the magnitude and the historical importance that it did carry, especially for me. I mean, for those who don't know, I do have this annual event called Blacktoberfest. The reason why I wanted to have something like that start in Boston is because a lot of people neglect and forget Boston, and they forget that niggas are here.
Mm.
And they also forget that history, the people that we have in our history books, especially Black people who are in our history books, had to come through Boston
From
in
Boston.
some point to either gain education, work experience, or something for them to have a stamp here. And then so I call this city one of the biggest transient and transitional cities ever. Because a lot of the big names that we have in our history books, a lot of these big names that we have, presidents, everyone has to come through this city to be big. But yet, when we travel, we're out here, smoking hookah, and then the next table next to you is like, where you from? I'm from Boston. Y'all got niggas there?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Are you dead ass? Anyway, so I'm really big on making sure that people remember that we do have a historical presence and a stamp in the city. And that we're not just about sports. We're not just about sneakers. We have hoods. We have gangs. We have
everything everybody else got.
Everything that everyone else has, but we're not talked about because we're the city of champions, right? But we don't talk about the city of like trials and tribulations. We don't talk about all of we have so much. We have dreams and nightmares that occur in the city, but no one talks about it.
Right.
But anyway, so this was a very important weekend for us. And for me, because I wasn't a thick of it, it was a job for me. Like, I'm Haitian. So for me, I'm just like, it's a job. I'm just gonna get my coins. Let me move on, blah, blah, blah. But I think after everything came together, from the unveiling, even to the sneaker ball, that, and I know there's a lot of arguments about, oh, it was exclusive. It was the first one. Also, people need to understand that this was a nonprofit. So a lot of guests has to go to the donors and the sponsors first.
Yeah.
So they fill up the space.
Yeah.
And this was a multi-million-dollar deal. And so if you're getting money, you got to make your donors happy. So they get first dibs. And of course, the politicians had to be in the room. You had to get the players in the room. You had to get from the outside looking in, I know there's a lot of feedback around not only the visual of the statue, but also like the perception. Hindsight's 2020. Like, you look at it, like it looks kind of like exclusive. Like it doesn't seem like it involves everyone, but people need to understand that nonprofits have to operate a little bit different, because people need to know where these money's going to, and they need to see where the money's going to. So it was a challenge.
So that you can get it again.
And people were just like, how come I didn't hear about it? I'm just like, I don't know. I'm not embraced. I was hired. Like, I was the help. Like, bruh. But I've gotten a lot of crazy feedback, like the overall vibe, I guess, like, from branding, and that people don't understand branding is just not a logo. It's really an energy. It's really an experience that you're providing. And it's also like, how do I visually create something that people could walk away with? And it's like, it's not just about InDesign. It's not all about like Photoshop. It's not all these colors and shit. It really is just like, okay, so what does it embody? How does it represent? How can I get something that goes from screen to something big that can speak to the masses? And also, what was great too, Omni Hotel Seaport, for me to be able to transform that whole hotel with my designs. That was the first time they let us do a lot of firsts over there. They were like, we've never had anyone do this before. You're the first. We've never had anybody do that. You're the first. We've never had anybody do that. You're the first. And it's crazy because jokingly, when I started my business, I said, I'm branding the world. I said that jokingly, but I said it so much, I started to believe it.
You manifested it.
I manifested it by mistake. Like, when I was like, oh, that
wasn't a mistake.
Thank you. That was not a mistake.
Okay, no mistake. Thank you. So I'm gonna take that. So I manifested it jokingly. That's what I say. And then the more I kept on saying it, I started to believe it, because I was just like, I don't call my company the Cultures Branding Agency for anything. I want us to impact, and I want us to be reminded as to who we are and who actually are the mothers and fathers of culture. And so I started saying it so much that I started getting development jobs. Like, so there's a building that we're building in Roxbury called Sage. We're over that. Then we have a new building that's coming up in Dorchester. It's called Dock Crossing. It's for home ownership. I'm literally touching ground, like land. So now I went from development to now a monument. Like, I'm branding a monument being placed in the city. Like, I'm just like, I'm touching the city now. I am excited for what God has placed for me to, like, the neighboring cities or the neighboring states or even the nation or even overseas. So that was my experience. So yes, so if you ever see like some photos from the events that occurred this past weekend, I know I am tired as hell. I probably don't want to hear the word embrace for the next 2 months. But yes, that was all a product of all women, Black women, Haitian and Caribbean, because Charlene is Trinidadian, led branding agency. And I'm pretty sure that we are probably the only branding agency that is Black women run owned in the Northeast for now. And I say the first because the goal is that we have many that can follow us.
Amen. Amen.
Yesterday's price ain't tomorrow's price.
Yeah.
Well, so Fena said something important here when she spoke about branding. And pretty much you are your brand. And, I think for me, one of the biggest thing about entrepreneurship is knowing when to take that step. I think, I believe all of you, right? Nobody has a 9. Black, do you have a 9 to 5?
No.
Okay. So no, when did you guys, and anybody can jump in and answer, when did you guys like finally take that leap? Because I'll say for me and Iris, we've had this conversation before where I told you my biggest, and I commend every single entrepreneur that I come in contact with, because I am A-type personality. I need to have that consistent check every 2 weeks.
A+ type.
A plus. Like if I got it, Jason will tell you, if I got an event in September, I'm talking to you in February and I'm checking in like all the time, because I need the consistency. So when were you able to, or what helped you gather that strength, courage, motivation to finally be like, I can't work this 9 to 5 for somebody else. It's time for me to do what I know I love.
So I'll jump in real fast, because I was having this conversation with somebody else. I'm a different type of entrepreneur. One, I tell people all the time, I have an authority issue. When I left the military, I said, ain't nobody yelling at me no more. So that was one thing. And I went back to school. To be honest, I'm not a full-fledged, in my mind, full-on entrepreneur. Not until like I finished my master's program. And then I'm done with school and I'm like, all right, now I'm all the way in. But I tell people all the time, it's easy for me. I'm not as courageous as everybody else here, because my thing is I have a retirement pension that comes in at the first of every month. So I budget around that and I'm able to jump out there and be an entrepreneur. Like most people, they gotta wait a while, still sticking in a 9 to 5, stack some bread and be like, and even then, you're never gonna be ready. Just because I get a pension that comes in, I'm still financially not ready. I make it work because I'm gonna go out there, I'm gonna hustle. Because end of the day, going to put in 8+ hours for somebody else's last name sounds crazy to me. There's nothing wrong with it. Not everybody's meant to be a boss. If everybody's a boss, who's the workers? For me, can I do a 9 to 5? Absolutely. I could absolutely go do a 9 to 5. But at the same time, my brain doesn't work like that. I'll be sitting at that job for 7 hours, thinking about all types of other stuff that I could be doing that could catapult a whole bunch of other things. And then not to mention, I have a kid. And he needs to understand, one, the power of $1, and you can do whatever the hell you want to do. You ain't got to be an entrepreneur. You ain't got to go to law school. There's certain things that I'd be like, just please, all this money that I'm spending, just please do something that's worth my dollars. That's all I ask.
Please, please.
Please, Jesus.
Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. Introduce
First of all,
yourself.
did Iris even introduce
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah,
I was about to say, first of all, there's mad Haitians on here, so hold on. I gotta represent for the others out here, guys. But hello,
Make
guys.
sure
My
you
name
have
is
your
Iris.
journal ready.
Huh?
Your
Make sure
journal,
you got your
because you
journal
have
ready.
thoughts. She always has thoughts and loses them.
Y'all don't gotta do that. I didn't even introduce myself yet. Y'all doing that.
My bad. Go ahead.
Okay. So, hi everybody. My name's Iris. I'm the owner of Mauve Boston. I started Mauve, started my podcast, which is the industrial, around the same time. We're all West Indian, right? So doing hair was never looked at as a career in my household. My mother's Costa Rican. Don't let my parents hear this, okay? My mother's Costa Rican, my father's Jamaican. So they never really agreed with me doing hair as like a career. It was more so a hobby. So I've been doing hair since I was working in the shop when I was like 12,
I was gonna
honestly.
say, yeah, you was in elementary school braiding hair. I remember that.
Catching the hair, not
Yep.
braiding.
Yep.
Okay. So I've always done hair as like a side hustle, side job. In school, went back to school, graduated, changed my career, had all these different ideas. Started working at the hospital, was gonna go to nursing school, did all of that, took classes, and then the hospital did it. The hospital pushed me into entrepreneurship. I didn't really too care for how okay.
You're trying to find a
So
nice way to say it. Just say it.
I'm like, we about to is this gonna go viral or just a little viral? I need to
We
know
gonna
what's going
see.
on.
Listen, shoot. I'm gonna do what Fena did, and Shoot Talk's gonna go nationwide. I'm gonna speak that.
All right. Well, as we go nationwide,
Worldwide.
hospital personnel can relate to everything I'm saying. So I just didn't understand ethically how people can care for people but don't care about their employees. So after I'm not going to say what hospitals I was working at, but after COVID, it was kind of like the whole Black Lives Matter, all the discomfort and stuff. And I didn't really like how my managers and stuff were dealing with the minorities' feelings during that time. There was no sensitivity. There was no thought into caring about how we might have been feeling at the time, like what we were going through, anxiety, depression, sadness, all type of stuff that we were feeling at that time. And then like how they handled us having to work from home was very kind of like, oh, so y'all had funds to allow people to work from home, but y'all never used them. All right, bet, I got it. So after that, I was just kind of like, I don't want to work for nobody anymore. I'm tired of it. I've been doing this for a while. I had dreams about it. Work was stressing me out to the point where I was breaking out in hives and all type of stuff. And I was just like, you know what? The government gave us money and I didn't use my own money. I just literally, every dollar the government gave as extra money, I just put it to the side. And that's what I used to start my business.
Got you. Jay?
Damn. Probably haven't had a job since.
Damn, that
Can't
long.
remember. I can't remember. Funny story. I used to work for Smooth at
I feel like
Pfizer.
everybody works for Smooth.
Yo, facts, right? And from there I went on to go teach at New Heights.
Mm.
And then it was just like, I can't do this. I was never the one for the complacency. I didn't have that in me. And I know people don't like that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm always talking to people like I run their shit. Like it's just ingrained in me. That's just a higher purpose, you know? And so when Natalie and I just figured that we just weren't for the shits no more. We just couldn't do it. We stepped out and just started to grind. And let me tell you, that's hard, yo. That's hard when you don't you're in this environment, hunter gatherer. You eat what you kill, and you don't know where to hunt,
Mm,
right? So you're out there just doing and doing, and I think people underestimate the power of doing.
mm,
Right? Just, when you think too much, nothing actually manifests. Manifestation happens in the act of doing, in the
mm,
act of actions, right? So all work works. So you get out there and you start plugging, you start getting to the next level, and then you realize after a while, I'm pretty sure many here can attest to this feeling. It's just like, I'm never going back to that shit. I don't give a fuck what happened. Yo, you nobody gonna tell me when to wake up. Nobody gonna tell me when the fuck to go home. I can't stay home with my kids. I can't do this. I can't do that. Bitch, nigga, I'ma eat with no drawers on the couch and make this money. Like,
I'm about to mute him,
my
Wait,
bad.
No, don't mute him
but he's
because
talking
yes,
real. He's talking
no,
real.
he's
No.
I don't
I'm
no,
know
I get
sorry.
what you're
when
saying,
it
but you said with no draws on, I just got thrown off real quick.
mm-mm.
Yo.
No, that's dead
But
ass.
that's
That's
how
true
it can
freedom
feel.
right there.
Freedom, and that's exactly what I'm trying to drive home here.
Right.
Is that nobody can come in my castle and tell me what to do, right?
Facts.
That's all me. That's all wifey. That's all it.
Yeah.
You know, our kids see that.
Yeah.
You understand? You
Yeah.
understand, people? We got to the point now. We're home. Employees are gonna call us like, "What do you want us to do with this? And what do you want us to do with that?" Okay, this is what you do. You
Yeah.
understand? I want my kids. Listen, this is my goal, my personal goal. I want my kids to have passive revenue stream that's generating revenue for them by the time they graduate high school.
Mm,
You understand? Because it's not too far fetched in this day and age for them to be able to do that. I
right.
gave my son a goal today. I'm like, listen, man, your last stretch of school, 12, going to 12th grade. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna give you a challenge. I want you to make 50 grand while you're in school. You're gonna make 50 grand by the time you graduate. He's like, I don't know what it's going to do. I'm like, you gonna learn. You're gonna learn today. You're gonna make that 50 grand by the time you graduate high school.
Did we mumble when we
Because
were that young?
Yes.
Yeah.
yo, listen.
Our mindset was different though. We from the generation, we'll work for an opportunity. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Not everything comes with a check, you know? So it's like,
Yeah.
it's good.
Our parents were different.
Doing. Yeah, that's
Our
true.
My
parents were
parents were
different.
survivors.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
but
taught
they
us
were different.
to survive. You understand? And I
Mhm.
appreciate my parents for that work ethic. That Caribbean work ethic is no joke.
Mm.
That's no joke. That's chicken and dumplings, and you know what I mean. Like that's get to it.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful. I'm grateful for all the ass whoopings. I'm
Mhm.
grateful for having to learn how to
I don't know about the ass whooping part though.
bro.
Them Haitians were vicious.
I could have
Yo,
sacrificed a little bit.
my parents are Dominica. We're from Dominica. You know what I mean? So it's like I just grew up different. I used to be embarrassed when my family come drop me off to school and they blasting Caribbean music. You know, kids at school don't listen to that. They don't listen to rap. They're like, "Yo, where you from?" I'm like, "Here." Oh, right here. But you know, it's just being grateful for that because that ingrained different energy in us, and you
Yeah.
can see it.
Yeah.
You can see it in
Yeah.
generations. We just move different. We have different energy. We want more. We're hungry, and we
It's
know.
the hustle. It is we've seen our parents do it.
Yeah.
And we
They
didn't
struggle.
understand
We
it.
saw them, and those who didn't do it, we saw them struggle.
Although
Yeah.
I think what we're doing is actually this generation understands and comprehends the difference between working hard and smart. So I think that we still will carry. In the beginning, it was probably hard because we're still trying to figure out entrepreneurship. But I think that hustle mentality, that hustle, that drive, and that like fire of doing better
Mhm.
or getting to a point of success or whatever success is, because it looks different for everyone.
Right.
I have to agree with you. I think that coming from Caribbean parents has been the probably the best thing that we could
Big facts.
have not asked for.
Yeah.
It's that work ethic is ingrained in us, and then you put us in this country where we just learned to hustle because we wanted more because our parents would listen, they gave us what they needed to give us. But the wants, when we had to go out, like, listen, you ain't getting Jordans every Saturday.
You better take your ass down to Payless and pick a nice pair of sneakers.
Go figure it out. You got a nice pair of Nikes right there to last you the school year.
When do
you
said
imagine
Nikes?
asking
I'm talking
for
about
Jordans back then?
Payless.
Yo, I was blessed. I didn't have to go to Payless. Thank you, Jesus.
Look, I'm like, my brother used to give me the discount, so I was saying there like.
But
well,
back
hold
to
on.
What Jay said about like what he had told his kid to do. I think for me, I'm gonna steal that idea when he gets older. Because right now, he's an employee for the company and don't even know it. Like his bank accounts be better than mine sometimes. I'm like, damn, I should take some of your money, bro. Like, but like that's how I set it up. It's like if I close a real estate deal, a percentage goes straight to him because I have him on payroll in theory, because you could put up to $12,000 a year, but this is a different conversation. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole.
What's this conversation called? Let me call it because we're gonna have a podcast episode about it.
We'll talk about it. It's pretty much making your child. If you're an entrepreneur, your child should be working for your company. It's point blank period. Caden right now, since he's been 2, he's been a model for all my real estate showings. All I gotta do is take a couple pictures in front of a house with him in it and all that stuff, and he get paid off for that. Then I take that stuff, I drop it into his IRA accounts, savings, and investments. By the time
y'all know white people have these conversations on the regular
all the time.
Exactly.
All the time.
That's a whole nother story.
You guys can come to my discussion groups later on.
Jay said,
"Are you writing?
Is that
where she's writing in her?" Iris got a pen in her hand. That's why.
Well, no, Iris has a pen because she will have a thought and then forget it, and then when we get back to her. But Dave is back.
With that though, that's called being prepared.
It's not prepared. She forgets.
Like when he says what he's saying.
But end of the day, I'm not gonna say white folks because there's wealthy black folks out there also. I like to say wealthy folks. They do these things for their children, and the moment they fucked around and let me get hip to game, I was like, oh hell no. This is why Walmart still exists. This is why Jeff Bezos and all them are like quadrillionaires.
Going to the moon and shit.
It doesn't make any sense. They have so much money they don't know what to do with it.
Right.
And it's like their kids were set up 2 generations ago.
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, right now I'm just trying to make sure 1 generation is set. If I'm blessed enough to do 2, now what Caden chooses to do with what he's set up for, that's on him. I did my job.
See, you letting go of the Haitian root right there. Talking about that's his choice what he does with his money. You gonna come back and be like, nah, you gonna make this money continue to roll. But hold on, real quick, everybody.
It's all how we teach them though. Like that's Jay said, you got a year to figure out how to make $50,000.
Make it work.
It ain't on daddy no more.
No. Dave, I see you're back. So I'm gonna let you speak your piece on entering the world of entrepreneurship.
Yeah, sorry about that. My AirPods decided to do, that glitching thing that we were talking about earlier with Apple?
Yeah.
It did one of those.
They heard you. That's what happened. They heard you. We're talking about what motivated and drove us. Well, y'all, because I'm still over here working for the man. I know, because I'm scared, guys. I'm not even gonna lie, because I'm scared to take that jump. But Dave, what motivated you to?
You're good.
What motivated you to take that jump?
Word. I kind of had no choice. In the world of production, it's kind of like you can continue to climb the ladder and work your way up as a PA to a production coordinator to whether you want to go in the camera department or production, production manager or whatever. You can either climb that ladder or you can build your own production company. You can do both if you want to as well. But I think what happened for me was the last show that I worked on was a show called Marriage or Mortgage. It's a reality show, and I was the assistant production coordinator on there. And my business partner and I were working on that show together. And after I found out how to actually do payroll on bigger budget sets, I spoke to my business partner. I was like, yo, this is my last big show. After this, we're doing our own thing. Like I have all of the information that I need now to go do this ourselves and actually raise the money that we need to create content and have that content actually provide for us financially. So yeah, right in 2019, the end of 2019, I decided to start the production company. And then 2020, right before lockdown, we shot like 12 projects in 2 months. And then COVID shut everything down. So then we were like, what do we do now? Because everything that we were shooting was live action. And we're in Nashville, which is in Music City. So a lot of the content that we were creating were with other artists, shooting music videos and starting like another brand that had a lot to do with the rappers in the Nashville community. But after lockdown, we had to pivot and we had to figure something else out, which was when we started the animation series. So yeah.
You were forced into entrepreneurship.
I wasn't forced into entrepreneurship. I always knew that it was going to happen. I just didn't have control of when I wanted to do it.
Okay.
So, Shou, I have a question for you, right?
Oh, yay.
So you said you're afraid to, right? And I'm not telling you to quit your job. Don't put that shit on me.
Oh yeah, no,
okay.
No. Yeah.
I'm just asking a question right now.
That's fine. If I was gonna let you put it on me, we'd be splitting that fund you get every first of the month.
You better go take a picture in front of those houses with
Right.
So check this out, right? Like,
yeah.
How did you know it was time for you to have a baby?
I didn't. You're right. Ramses took that time from me. Although, and I was very upset because
I just look at it like this. People that always say they wait, and this is from me having a conversation with myself not too long ago. Like I just put myself on a time frame because a lot of shit I've been putting on the back burner. Like, oh no, I'm still in school. The funds ain't there. It's never gonna be a good time.
Yeah.
When you make that leap, make it. If you fail, you better learn from it and then try again. Because like I failed. Let's talk about the nightmares part. I failed a lot of times before I got to where I'm at right now.
Did you fail or did you learn lessons? Which one?
I learned.
Okay.
Everything. I never lose. I never fail. I just learn.
Okay. Clear those
sometimes I learned that shit's just not for me.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's what some people got to realize. It's like, and I'm not saying entrepreneurship's not for me. That lane that I was trying to get into is not for me. And it's all right. I'll lose thousands of dollars to know that, okay, how can I fix it? Or is it just not for me? You know what I mean? Like every lane ain't for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, it's funny. When you saying that exact line, what is the, what's the rapper? Oh my God. Yeah. First of all, y'all know I'm a soca head, so I don't know hip hop much. Marathon.
Tupac?
No.
Nipsey Hussle.
Nipsey Hussle. And I think it was him that said it. That's what he's known. I said marathon, and y'all know who I was talking about, though, right?
I thought you was talking about Tupac. So
no. But he said, "Why would you try to get into somebody else's lane? There's no traffic in your own lane, so stay in your lane." So, what you said made me think of that. I
tell Natalie that all the time. Lanes.
Stay in your lane.
I'm over here. That's lanes for real, though. Very important.
But it kept bringing up talking about nightmares. What were some of the hard times that you guys, dealt with? Like I know one thing, and I'm gonna call Fena out, put her on the spot. Fena's always on her phone. Always. Fena, I truly believe that Fena does not sleep at night, or during the day, or at all. So
why is the planet getting on my ass
about that?
Yo, no bullshit. If I didn't know that there was apps where you could schedule out stuff, I'd be like, yo, when does she sleep?
She doesn't.
She puts out a bunch of fucking content
all the time.
I'm like, I can't keep up with this shit. I don't care what Gary Vee says. I don't care what none of them motherfuckers. I can't keep up with that shit.
I don't schedule shit.
She doesn't. Fena's posting
I
in real
don't.
time.
I'm
Oh,
telling you,
shoot.
I'm telling you this. I'm a Pisces at heart. I operate in calamity. I'm a dreamer. I'm probably not on this podcast. I'm probably somewhere
What?
else. Like my mind is everywhere.
Fena's in a
But
meeting right now.
actually what's funny is that I was replying to a collaboration deal out of Denver.
Don't feel bad. I was in 2 meetings at once.
See?
Yeah, so I was-
This is the life of
Don't feel bad.
entrepreneurship.
It's multitasking. But okay. Health is important for me. And I think those who do follow me have seen that I've been in numerous journeys to my health. But one thing that was challenging, and I had to be very, very, very careful with, is that this hustle mentality that they tell you no sleep, forget
Stupid.
that.
Exactly.
And I know you guys talk about I don't sleep, but I mean I don't sleep, but I also, when I first started off this job, my career, I was so gung-ho on working from dusk till dawn that it almost killed me. And I was like, my body was malfunctioning. And I have to be very careful because I'm a cancer survivor. So my story is beyond my business. Like I have to be careful with this body that God has given me another chance in, that I cannot let a client steal my
Peace.
health, my peace, my health. So, and one thing, and I say this to me myself all the time, I will literally say, and these are my clients, yo, fuck them clients. And I will literally say that because the job will be done. And another thing is that somebody else is emerging, and this is not in regards to entrepreneurship. This is for everything. And this is also a boundary set. Somebody else's emergency is not yours. And that was one thing that saved my life, because I was literally rushing, stopping what I was doing, or staying up late, taking 5-hour energies. What? Like, because I was trying to make a deadline. And when I realized that the deadline will be done regardless, these people will have to wait. Who did they hire? They hired you. They're not going to find another you to complete what they are looking for, because there's something unique in you. Why are you doing what you're doing, killing yourself? And I may be
that's speech material. I didn't write that down.
Yeah, do it.
Not stealing it.
Go ahead. I don't care. I forgot what I said, but
She ain't even here. She's not here, guys.
I'm not here. I'm a Pisces. So I one thing is that yes, I might not sleep, but during the day belongs to my clients. During at night is when I'm able to actually, my buying goes.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I'm creating, I probably might not post it right away, but I'm creating stuff. And it just might be a thought. It might be, honestly, I don't know, just anything. But limiting my access to people has really allowed my creativity to actually flourish, because I'm bombarded with all this work. I'm like, sometimes I'm just like, you know what? I know money's kind of tight, because as an entrepreneur, you know this, money may be tight, but like what you said, Jay, I'm not going back to the man's unless it's under my control, like whatever. So, but yeah, my health is very important. So that was the nightmare, because I literally thought I was going to die at one point because of my health. And again, because I come from like my history with cancer, like I'm just like, I'm really not trying to cause my body any shock where things can rehappen again. Like I don't want to get into that position where I have to go back to the hospital so frequently. Like I'm not trying to get that to that point. And also, that's when I started taking trips. That's why a nigga is always on a flight.
For real, she is. For real, she is. I'll let somebody else answer before I jump into another question about nightmares.
So, all right. Yeah.
Actually, Jay, too, before you jump into that, I would love for you to talk about the post you had with your transparency post. Because that can also be a form of a nightmare. You messed up an order and then you had to fix it. He gave me the.
All right, Fena, you're gonna feel me on this one, because this is design world, right? So I had a client wanted a custom piece made for one of her events, I designed it, right? On top of that, I invented a new lane for events where it's no longer, they'd have like quinceañeras, sweet 16, but there's never really anything available from the boys. I'd have mothers coming in with their sons talking about, I want to have a sweet 16. And I'm watching the boy cringe over there in the corner. I'm like, yo, stop saying that. So I created the super 16s instead. This individual decided to use that as well. So I'm like, word, I'm gonna smash this, right? Made the design piece, boppity boppity bop, bang, sent it out. I don't know what happened. I guess I sent the same design to print twice. All right, but wait, it gets worse. So he lets me know. I'm like, all right, how do I fix it? How do I fix it? Boom, hit up another vendor, closer, got it done. Rushed out, hand delivered it. Opened it up, like, bah, here you go. It's like, that's the wrong one. It's supposed to be this one. So now I have printed the same design 3 times. All right, what do I do now? Flex, on the horn, bam. Caught another vendor. They printed something out, delivered it directly to her. And I'm like, I'm driving from Boston to Norton, back to Boston, like all kinds of crazy. Yeah, out there.
Where's Norton?
The sticks, that's where
Far.
it is.
Far.
Sticks.
I thought he said Newton, so
They still got lynching trees out here.
Nah.
So, long story short, instead of buckling in on that situation and saying, all right, well, you know what, I'm sorry, I messed it up. Here's your refund. Please forgive me. Hunkered down and made my client's problem my problem to solve, which in that post, I was just saying, sometimes you're in business, but when you're in business, and Fena, you're going to feel this, when you're representing a client and you're creating something for them, it goes beyond just the creation. It's the entirety of the service, right? It's fulfillment, right, Iris? You know what I'm talking about. It's the fulfillment in its entirety. You feel me? So I had to find a resolve for that, and I had to make sure that she understood that I understood it's important. Her brand is important to me. A job that had a profit margin of probably like $200 ended up costing me about $750 to fix, right?
Sheesh.
But she saved face with her client. The client got what she wanted. In return, she saw that her own supports her. You feel me? Like, she knows that, yo, when it gets hot, I know he's gonna come through. I know he's gonna come through for me. And I needed her to feel that. And I needed to feel that. So it was a nightmare, but it was a blessing. And like, when you guys were just talking about this failure concept, right? Is failure really failure? It depends on your perception, because that same failure is necessary for you to grow. That's evolution at its finest, right?
It's a fact.
That's the key to evolution. It fails, it works. It fails, it works better.
Problem solving. You were given an opportunity to problem solve something that, if you didn't, say, your whole life journey, I think you had to go through whatever you had to go through life in order for you to understand, okay, if this doesn't work, then I got to go around this and make sure that this works. If that doesn't work, because at the end of the day, at the end of this project, it's going to get done. And that's why when I say fuck these clients, because it's literally, work is going to get done.
For real.
Your end, they don't need to see the calamity. They just need to know that you're present. Right. And you were able to experience and give them that brand experience, because, Crystal Light is a brand. You gave them that brand experience, like, bruh, I got the wrong design, but they came through and gave me the design right on time for me to represent myself to another client. So yeah, so it's a lot, but this problem solving gives you an opportunity to actually like work your problem solving skills.
The crazy,
it's essential. Yeah. Okay.
The crazy thing about what y'all are saying also is like, even as an event host, when I get hired to do certain things, there's somebody that they paid thousands of dollars to put this event together. I am just a fucking MC. But the moment you give me the program in hand, they get to all disappear. And now I gotta sit there and be like, oh shit, this is fucked up.
Yeah.
We gotta fix this. Now I'm running around with my head cut off, whether it be a wedding, a corporate event, like corporate events. Oh my God. Fena, I understood what you was talking about with the pigment lacking folks. It's
crazy, bro.
Listen, I came from the military.
The lack of melanin.
I come from the military, and I was one of like 200 to 300. And like when you're in the corporate sector, that shit is. And
Oh, we're losing you, Kev.
then they looking at you like, so why didn't you fix it yet? There's very few times that I'm not going to fix the issue, because sometimes it's just beyond my means. There's nothing I can do. What I can do is salvage the rest of the night. That's all I can do for you, you know? So like, those are the things that we're talking about. Everybody on social media give you all the glitz and the glam. And even we do it, right? We're going to show you the best products, but at the same time, you don't see the headache that it took to get here, the meetings, the Zooms, the flying in, the meeting with the client cussing you out, threatening to fire you. And I'm like, you gonna fire me right now? 6 hours before the event? Who are you gonna get to come in? Because you know, I got a Diddy contract. I'm gonna get paid regardless. So you can try it if you want to, but like, there's a lot to go into every little. That's why, like, for you guys that actually put on events, kudos to y'all. Me, I ain't put on no goddamn event. I'ma hire one of y'all. Y'all can come put on the event, and I'll show up, just turn my mic on, and I'm gonna do my thing. And even that, it sounds so easy, but it's not. It's like everybody's tugging at you, and everybody's a priority. The public, like Fena said, the publicists think that they're the king tut. This person think they're king tut. I'm like, you all know we got hired by the same person. So
we are the workers.
Yeah, I mean, like,
you are the help.
Here for 2 seconds.
We are the help.
We are the help. I know they're telling these people, like, I know you may be white, but you know you're the help, right?
We in this together. We in this together, Hoppo. Iris, I'm gonna let you talk about your nightmares.
See, one thing, right? Doing here is so personal. It's so like people easily forget that you're providing a service and just automatically think you're their friend because you go from the service to deep conversation. Now I know about your baby mama. Now I know about your baby father. Now I know y'all both got the same boyfriend. Like, all that conversation happens in the shop. And in my space, it's very intimate. I don't have other stylists there. So people literally, this is literally either a therapy session or a confessional, and I'm the priest. Those are the two.
Look, I'm gonna tell y'all, she done listened to me vent plenty of times. I don't have no two boyfriends at the same time, but you know, I just hear Black getting his phone right now.
I kept it right here, girl. Right here.
I ain't telling nothing. I'm getting messages. I got to respond to. You know what? Like Fena said, this is my time now. Okay.
Exactly.
Put that down.
Reclaim your time.
Go ahead, Iris.
It's hard. When it goes, it's hard not to look.
Turn it around. But okay, so my nightmare has been losing clients for different reasons, right? Like, clients don't want to pay how much you charge. Keep in mind, I have a whole foot massager in my shop that massages your feet while you get your hair washed.
What?
How many salons have that?
None.
We could survey if you want, but people will still question, like, oh, like that much? That much? I'm over here looking at people's prices like, damn, I think I got to go up another $2,000 because this ain't it. My electricity bill is up there right now with that damn electrical
and the water bill,
fucking foot massager rubbing your toes. But I learned that you can fire clients too. So nightmares don't really exist for me anymore. Even though I'm new in the entrepreneurial world, I've been doing hair since I was young. I've been working at salons, Black, white, all of that. I've worked in other industries, so customer service and all that stuff, I'm already aware of that. So I'm realizing now, like, as I'm handling my business as a serious business and not a hobby, I don't need you as a client. Maybe we're not a good fit. Like, maybe you need to reconnect with the stylist down the street because we're not connecting either financially, personality, energy. I'm big on energy. So nowadays, that whole nightmare stuff, that was like the old me when I was still trying to treat my business as a hobby. But now that I treat it professionally, there's no nightmares because now, kind of like what Fena was saying, I chose to be an entrepreneur for a reason. I can control my mood, I control my day, I control my clients as well. If I don't want to work, if something comes up, I'm going to have to reschedule. And it's life. The same way clients will turn around and say they can't come or whatever, I have to do the same thing. And I don't. It's rare that I cancel a client, unfortunately. but I think, yeah, the whole nightmare thing was my fear of losing clients, but you can't lose somebody that's meant for you in any situation. So if a client's gone, you were not meant to continue this journey with me, and that's it. You don't want to keep people around longer than they're supposed to be there because that client could ruin my business.
Right.
Word of mouth grows my business, and if a client's too negative, even too catty or gossipy, I don't really need that in my space. So
Facts.
And that takes a while to learn and grow to also. It's like firing yourself. Listen, it took me a minute before I could realize, like, oh shit, I can fire myself. Hey, I'm not the right fit for you. I could give you some referrals. Cause like you're not worth the time and energy. Cause sometimes when you break down some of these transactions, it was like the amount of hours of stress you put in me too, it's not worth it.
Right.
It's not. You gotta go.